Yo, this is Justin's new WildWeather show. This is your new host in town. It's DJ Shikalicious. We're gonna be bringing you the freshest and the hottest weather. Who is you?
I'd be DrCumulus. Who invited this guy?
Dude, I'm not the host. I got a letter saying I was.
I didn't authorize that.
Oh man, this is ridiculous, man.
Get out of
Get
here.
my own show.
All right. I'm sorry, everybody. You know me. I'm DrCumulus. I'm going to be your one and only host throughout the whole season. I'm not going to let someone replace me like that. I don't think so. Well, today's going to be a fun day. We're going to talk about cumulus clouds, cirrus clouds, and, of course, stratus. It's going to be a good little show. We'll be talking about each of them. I hope you like the descriptions because we're going to be very, very detailed today. We're not going to go into any stages of these clouds. We're going to stay with the very basics. But let's get into the main show. Well, as I'm prepared to say goodbye, have a good one and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Warning! What you are about to watch may shock or impress you. Young guys are encouraged. Please sit tight, grab the drinks, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Justin's Wild Weather Venture. Today's been a pretty good day. Well, today we promised to talk about some 3 different cloud types. Cumulus, again cirrus, and stratus. Well, we're going to go into a little bit of each, but there's some key things that you need to know about weather altogether first. One of those is that weather is the most powerful force on the earth today. There's a lot of different opinions on that, but according to most surveys and as well as many scientists, weather is number 1. Another point is the fact that the troposphere, which is where a lot of our weather happens today, is about 5 miles thick. Now, if you have a car, you know about how far 5 miles is, so visualize if you want to. Another thing, too, is that heat, moisture, winds, and overall temperature, and several other factors, of course, affect cloud developments. So, you know, how do you like this beach? It's kind of neat how you see a little bit of everything on every side of it. Weather is every day. Climate is just a general summary, but weather happens every single day. Where are you at right now? Is it sunny outside? It's weather. Are you freezing cold in Alaska right now? It's weather. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our cumulus cloud discussion for a little bit. And everything, I'm going to pull up a photo for you. Here you go. There's a photo for you. Look at this and look at point 1. See how in point 1, how it's a little rigidy and raggedy? That's the popcorn-like appearance of a cumulus cloud. Cumulus in the Latin means heap or pile. Now there's a couple of names that derive out of these, but we're not going to go into those today. We're just talking about the very basics. Cumulus clouds, their bases generally tend to be from 2,000 up to 10,000 or even 15,000 feet in some areas. They're influenced by many factors such as instability, moisture, and temperature gradient, which we'll go into later with each of these. Some other things you can look for in a cumulus cloud, they can be precursors to severe weather. And they're formed whenever warm air masses reach its dew point and then condenses. So that another way to say that is, such as this next photo, they will rise, where you see how there's some gray bases here. They're going to rise in this photo, and then that gray base is that moisture that's there. And then sometimes they'll rise really high, but then they'll die back down. And everything. That's called a cumulus congestus. That's the second stage, but we're not going into that today. Now, weather and cumulus clouds and all these different clouds we're going to talk about today are a team player. Each one plays a role with another, but we're not going to examine that today. So, you know, the thing about today is just an introduction. Cumulus clouds in this next photo, you can see, in this one in particular, this is an example of a cumulus humulus. Very, very, very neat set of clouds, but very, very short-lived. That's just another random. There's a couple out there, but I wanted to stay very basic with you. So I'm going to ask you, do you think we should go into cirrus now or stratus? Well, to be honest with you, I was going to say cumulus for last, but let's just go into cirrus right now. Alright, they're very short, so... DrCumulus again. Well, let's get serious for a little bit. Well, I told you already a little bit about cumulus clouds and everything. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this next photo for you. This photo is very, very intricately designed. It's because it's got a little bit of a mix of different forms of cirrus. Now in point 1, there's a key point of it. See that wispy appearance? That's what separates cirrus clouds. Now cirrus clouds there's not much to them. They go from 20,000 to 59,000 feet. That's their general altitude areas. They're very, very intricate in processes. They tend to look like virga. They're formed by ice crystals at very high latitudes. The wisps that you see on there, some people have come to call that mare's tails, which is indeed true, because if you've ever seen a horse, then you have the general idea there. Now there's not any sign of severe weather when you see these, but there can be a precursor. It's a little bit more hard to tell than with mammatus, which we'll go into, and things of that nature. Some other key points is, according to location, it can be a shield to turbulent weather, which means that it acts like a lenticular or a polaeus, blocking anything from further expanding up. Some other things is it's sometimes mistaken, again, for virga, because virga itself is a very, very interesting process, but we're not going to go into any processes today. Again, we're going very basic with clouds. Now, sometimes you got to understand that cirrus is going to be the big help in the producer of the rare sight, or rarely seen Helmholtz waves, Kevin Helmholtz, which is a very, very big research project right now, trying to understand those better. Now the photo, again, what you see with the lower levels, a little bit of the lower cirrostratus, those happen according, elevation will affect every cloud development. So if you're 10,000 feet above sea level, chances are you're going to see up close and personal some good cumulus clouds. But that's pretty high, so according to where you're at, you know, if you want to leave the YouTube little comment of what your elevation is, be glad to. I accept it. Well, time to move on to stratus, but we're going to go somewhere else for stratus. Well, hello again. We're back. Well, we're going to finish our discussion today and hopefully have a word from some good friends of the company. So, what have you learned? Cirrus are fibrous, which is what a key characteristic of knowing what they look like, and they're at high altitudes. Cumulus are about the middle, and they can be precursors to severe weather. Well, stratus. Very, very short discussion. Very short. Let's see. They develop in areas that are about 100 feet to 6,500 feet. Now, 100 feet, you know how far that is. That's like a 10-story building. Well, they develop and dissipate at a rapid rate. So if you're on a mountainside and you're seeing this cloud coming over you and it's really, really fast, it's really, really rapid in its intensity, but it's dying at the same time it's developing, then you're probably experiencing stratus clouds. They produce trace amounts of moisture. If anything, it's a slight mist. It's nothing to worry about. They produce fog, and there's two words for that. There's altostratus and nimbostratus. And such as this photo right here, that's another good example of what nimbostratus is. Nimbostratus, you can drive through it, you can walk through it. It's right there on the ground with you, according to your elevation as well. According to location, it can be a recurring cloud, meaning it occurs often. Whenever it's warmer, high humidity can trigger development, thus leading to a cumulus-infested day. That's kind of one of the neat tricks of stratus clouds. Like I said, the photo right here is a good example. They can be called layer clouds because they tend to stack on one top of another. Some people have observed that. I've never personally observed it, but people have. And they can tend to be cold on the inside. Say you're walking and you encounter one, all of a sudden it gets cold, but as soon as you step out, you know, some people, they don't realize it, that they're actually walking through it. So, you know, we're going to probably have closing comments, and the closing comments are, thank you again for choosing Justin's Wild Weather Venture, where learning is an adventure. Hope you've liked the show thus far. We're still working on a topic for next episode. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, please call 325-829-0361 or leave a comment on YouTube or MySpace or wherever you're watching this from, and we will gladly get to you as soon as we can. Thank you for choosing Justin's Wild Weather Venture. This is DrCumulus saying goodbye.